Hi there. Welcome to the Productive Introvert Community podcast, the Share My Process edition. So, this podcast is for introverted entrepreneurs who feel deep down that they can have more impact on the world, they can add more value. But that have a little bit of a hard time figuring out how to work with your natural process and your quiet nature in a world where that doesn't always seem to be the thing that gets you the best results. So that's a concept that we're going to challenge in this podcast. And this is the Share My Process edition. So the podcast is coming out in July. We're in May now, end of May. And I've decided to kind of show you what I mean when it comes to working with your natural process, that I'm going to do the brave thing. And I'm going to show you exactly what I do, the things that I do on kind of a daily or weekly basis while I built this podcast, and we'll see how that goes over the next month. So I don't have everything worked out yet. As you can see, I'm fumbling a little bit. This is when I get nervous, right? Because I'm saying something that my inner critic is immediately saying, "Oh, can you really make that promise?" Very difficult. If you recognize that, a lot of introverts tell me that they have that issue. But there are still ways to make progress and take these steps, even when you feel not completely ready yet. But it doesn't have to be stressful, because we can find ways that kind of match with us, with our natural process and our personality. So yeah, let me take a little step back. So maybe you don't know me yet. Some of you who are watching already know me, but if you don't know me yet, I'm Mariela Franker. I am a natural productivity coach for introverts, and I help introverts to be productive in a way that feels natural. So without that stress, that overwhelm, or feeling like you have to behave like someone you're not. I won't get into all that now, because we're going to dive deep into those ideas and everything around that in the podcast itself. But over the next couple of weeks, I'm going to share my process around building the podcast. And that's going to be more about the questions that I ask myself, that I then answer to kind of get this thing out. It's going to be a bit about the technical side. So if you're interested in starting your own podcast, this could be useful for you. And it's going to be about finding that match with the way that you naturally work. So everyone has his own natural working style, and I've discovered mine through a coaching program. And I'm a coach myself, and I teach people to do the same thing now. And this is an example of that. So the podcast, and also this Share My Process series, or whatever I'm going to call it. I haven't made up my mind yet. Let's go with series. The Share My Process series. They're going to be short, like 10 to 15 episodes, basically. And I'm going to come on a couple of times a week to tell you what I'm working on, and things that work and things that don't work. And then we're going to slow it down in July a little bit. And there's going to be a podcast episode every week. And then we're going to go deeper into these concepts. So I'm saying it's a podcast. Obviously, you're watching this on video right now. And the reason for that is it's going to be a podcast both in audio, but there's also going to be video. For those who love video, some people, we all learn differently in different ways. And some people are very visual and they love the video, and some people love audio. So I've decided to bring out the same episodes in those two different formats, and you can choose which one you prefer. The share my process part is only going to be on YouTube. It's only going to be on video. And then in July, you can also get it on all the normal podcast channels. And I don't even really know how to do that yet. So that's one of the questions. That may be the first question that I start to answer. But I'll share with you as we go along. So subscribe to this channel if you want to follow along with me and kind of figure this out with me together. Honestly, if you have any advice for me, feel free, because I am a total newbie at this. I've done some research, but that's more to wrap my head around the whole idea of it and what I kind of want to do with it. And I'll share more about that next week or later this week as well. But if you have any tips and ideas for me, like, please feel free to share. I know a lot of people, some people that I know from my community already do podcasts. And yeah, it would be very helpful for you if you would share. Or if you have any questions or things that you would like me to look into, we can also, look at that. All right, so thank you. And let's see, wish me luck.